Greetings YouTube, this is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 bringing you another review. This one will be a comparison review between the first edition Arcee and the new Robots in Disguise Arcee, which is from the main line for Transformers Prime. Robots in Disguise Arcee is provided by fellow YouTuber Andrew Strappers. He did an unboxing and transformation video of her just a few days ago. I will link to the description to his video, and I'll also put up an annotation here somewhere. So yeah, just you might want to check out his video because he will be showing the transformation in detail. And like I said, they're both on the screen at the same time for some basic comparison. So let's get ahead. Oh, by the way, this is Wheeljack. He will be making various cameos in this video for comparisons of scale and features. So let's talk about how they store their weapons first and foremost. In robot mode, Arcee from the first edition line clips her weapons on and they become additional side panels, which almost seamlessly blend into the motorcycle sculpt. I kind of like this kind of weapon storage because it actually just kind of adds to alt mode without really being too obtrusive. The Robots in Disguise version, on the other hand, looks really freaking silly. Her sword and gun just kind of clip onto her front wheel, which looks both massively oversized and ridiculously unbalanced. It just doesn't gel with me. I do not like. I mean, maybe with the gun clipped off and just the sword, maybe that can work. Yeah, that looks a little better. Yeah, that looks like something that you would practically put on a motorcycle to attack people with. Arcee also comes with these two pegs. Two pegs on her. Everything gets fuzzy when I hold it closer. I'm just going to zoom. There we go. Two pegs on the side, which I think for a practical motorcycle, that's where the rider's feet are meant to go. But it also means that you can take first edition Arcee's sword and kind of add it there. So, for what it's worth, Robots in Disguise Arcee can still use first edition Arcee's swords in alt mode at least. Okay, so now let's unclip all weapons and do a direct comparison of motorcycle to motorcycle. Oh wait, I did mention that I would be comparing features. Here's Wheeljack. His swords stow completely underneath him. They don't interfere with the car's rolling. And if you wish, you can unclip and reattach the sword to an alternate clipping space here, which creates tusk mode, which looks as ridiculous as you would think, but also pretty intimidating. Wouldn't want to be run over by that car. Alright. So that's Wheeljack's cameo for this part of the video. Now let's get back to comparing. I should mention that I did do a bit of customizing on this Arcee, which shows an alt mode on her front wheel. Originally it was unpainted, and I added some blue and metallically pink paint to her front wheel to help it match the show. In vehicle mode, that's really all that shows. So let's see. So let's just talk about default graphics here. First edition Arcee has a pink silver stripe going here. Her muffler is picked out in silver paint, and she has some detail apps on her front, including a gas tank and some silver and black parts, because this would become part of her torso and it shows. This Arcee is very much simpler. Zoom out just a little bit, get the other Arcee out of the way. Aside from being cast in a slightly lighter, less metallic looking blue, you can tell that she has much fewer paint apps. She has a silver stripe. It's not pinkish, it's just plain silver on her side panel. The inside rim of the wheel is picked out in silver, like on the first edition, but her muffler is just sculpted in blue. So, plus her back, aside from the black seat, there's really nothing painted there either. So she has fewer paint apps, and what paint apps are there, there's also a smaller palette. Whereas the first edition has silver, black, blue, and pink. This one is just black, blue, and silver. So how do these robots do hiding their kibble? If we look at the first edition, you can probably tell that that's a foot. If you look at her from the top, you can probably see her elbows here. And from the front, if you look inside, you can see her hands. Although, since any bits of the robot that are sticking out are black, and mostly they're inside the alt mode, you really wouldn't notice it unless you actually were fidgeting and looking really closely. So from outside, she very much looks just like a motorcycle. This Arcee, the Robots in Disguise version, her foot's there. It also does an excellent job blending in with the muffler, even if the muffler is unpainted. But uh-oh, her hands. She has the same problem that the 2007 movie Arcee has, in that her hands just kind of stick out the back of the motorcycle. Kind of obvious there. Although you can see that the wrist cuff, which remained unpainted on the original Arcee, is painted in here. It's painted in silver instead of pink, but hey, it's there. Aside from the visible hands, that's pretty much all you can see of Arcee. Although, if you look at it from the same angle where you would see Arcee's hands on first edition, you'll see her head folded in there. But again, you have to be looking inside the toy to do that. So, yeah, aside from visible hand syndrome, this is also a pretty good representation of a motorcycle with very little robot kibble. Also, there is one more comparison. When you look at them from the top, as you can see, the motorcycles are very much almost the same size. Allow me to zoom out a little bit so they will show better. The two motorcycles are very nearly the same size. I know a lot of times the Robots in Disguise line is significantly smaller than the first edition, but in vehicle mode at least they appear to be about the same. Except when you look at first edition, because her arms fold up this way, it makes her alt mode a little bit fatter. This one is thinner and sleeker. Alright, let's do one more test, and that is the rider. How do these accept the rider? Sitting in for the rider comparison will be Drossel von Flügel. This is a 4-inch figure. She's approximately the same size as a G.I. Joe. And I kind of like the idea of one robot girl riding another robot girl, so this amuses me. Okay, so on first edition, you can see she fits kind of well, although she sits kind of high because she can't get her thighs around the thin part. Although you can see that although she's wider, the knees of the figure can easily fit in a gap there, so you could probably fit a 4-inch figure and have it ride pretty easily on this despite the extra wideness. Moving on to Robots in Disguise, I can stick Drossel onto here, put her hands over the handlebars, and there we go. She actually can't get her thighs. Even though sleeker, since Arcee's hands go there, Drossel's knees can't. So so that means that her legs would have to splay outside. I mean, I'm not sure if if you had a G.I. Joe or something, if their articulation would be robust enough. But Drossel can ride First Edition convincingly. She can't ride RID convincingly. And I found that out with you. I didn't test that beforehand. Okay, so next I'm going to transform them into robot mode. And I'm going to do this off camera. If you wish to see Robot in Disguise Arcee's transformation on video, then, like I said, Andrew Strappers, let's annotate him again. Okay, robot mode.